Good morning and welcome to my kitchen. Today I've got 3 recipes for you. A delicious 3-bird Wellington. Amazing alternative for the big day on Christmas Day. I've also got a lemon curd martini, one of Emily's favourite drinks. She's tried it a few times. Well, we all have, to be honest. And then I've also got a vegan meatloaf, which is absolutely delicious. Convert any meat eater onto a plant-based dish. Now let's get on with it. Okay, so let's get started with our 3-bird Wellington. Now, we have got pheasant, duck and turkey. So all the familiar things on there. I've got a great way to serve it. I start with a paxo. All right, so your normal supermarket, off the shelf, 50p a packet, put it in a bowl, 400 mils of water, so it's quite dry, okay? In it goes. With that, we've got our minced turkey, okay? So I've got 2 lots of minced turkey to go in there. And then we're going to get some flavour in now. I've got dried cranberries. So they're going to give a real sort of tartness to it. And then I have got some clementine zest. So that one's not working. We're going to get the zest in. So we've got some nice sort of familiar Christmas mulled flavours that are going to work really well. So just roll the clementines around the fine grating panel on there, yeah? So we're going to do 3. Get some real Christmassy flavour in here. Now remember, if you've got any questions at all, just post them in the comments below and I will answer them as quickly as I can. And also, if you want the ebook with the series, just type free book in the comments below and it'll launch into Facebook Messenger and follow the instructions. You'll sign up to our monthly newsletter, which we're working away on at the moment. And you will get delivered a PDF ebook, which is amazing. Over 100 pages, is it not?
Yeah.
How many recipes?
Quite a few.
Yeah. Emily's been eating, sleeping and breathing this ebook, so please download it. She's worked really hard on it. Okay, so a little bit of mixed spice, maybe half a teaspoon, and then nutmeg. Always buy whole nutmeg. Okay, don't buy the ground stuff. It just loses all its character and flavour. So it's really important you just zest it in. Nice fine zest. Oh, it's just instantly makes your kitchen smell of Christmas. There we go. And then season up with a little bit of salt and some cracked pepper. And then mix the turkey and the stuffing together and just get it all incorporated, okay? You could do this the night before if you wanted to. The stuffing kind of absorbs the moisture from the turkey and just gives it that depth of flavour. You've essentially got everything from a Christmas dinner in here almost. It's a bit like last year. What did we do last year? We did like we did it in a pudding pan, didn't we?
Yeah.
What did we do?
We did it like a meatloaf.
It was a meatloaf. That was it. It was a Christmas meatloaf with cranberry sauce on the bottom, and then like a stuffing in the middle, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So a bit of a variation, something a bit different. I'm not a massive turkey fan, I'll be honest. What are you having this year? Have you decided?
Turkey.
Are you?
There's 12 of us to feed turkey.
All right. Yes. 11 plus the VIP.
Yeah.
Bless her. Right, let's put that to one side. That is ready to go. I'm just going to go wash my hands and then I'll be back. Right, so we've got our turkey mince over there, just resting in a bowl. So I've got the duck breasts here. We need to take the skin away, okay? Because normally you would pan fry that, go nice and crispy, and it would render beautifully. But because it's going inside pastry, it won't. So we need to remove it. So just pop your knife under there. Just give you a little cut so that you've got something to hold on to. turn the breast over, skin side down, then put your knife vertical and then just push the breast meat away and hold onto the skin and just little forwards and backwards motions, little cuts, and eventually the breast meat will just come away from the skin. Okay? Little cuts, little cuts. Just take your time. If you're not sure about doing this and you want to make this recipe, ask your butcher nicely. I'm sure he'll do it in a heartbeat so quickly. Right. And then all we're going to do is take both of these duck breasts and I'm going to butterfly them. So we're going to cut them horizontally.
Yeah.
Emily's keeping me right today with my horizontals and verticals. So hand flat on top of the duck breast. Knife parallel. Cut in halfway. Keep your little finger and your thumb up so you don't cut them off. And just cut through, and there you go. You'll just end up with two thinner pieces which will cut. And we can lay those all the way through the Wellington. So we'll do the same again. Hand flat, little finger and thumb up so you don't cut them. Just push the knife through. There we go. That was the high risk part of this recipe. Successfully done. Right, okay. So, and then we have got our pheasant here, which are just little breasts there. They can just go with the duck. Ready to go. I bought those straight from my local farm shop, so they're easy to deal with. Right, okay. So what I'm going to do is a little season on these. Okay. A bit of black pepper, little touch of olive oil on there. Maybe take one of these clementines that we've done the zest, and we're just going to marinate them up on the chopping board a little bit. See, I haven't put this on the recipe, but it seems like a good idea. So I've gone rogue. Sometimes when you're in the kitchen, you just think, oh, I've got an orange, I've used the zest. I'll use that. Let's put this to one side and we'll get on with the pastry. Right, we'll have a little wipe down. Okay, puff pastry. I've got 2 blocks here. Rather than stretch it and hope and make it last, I'm going to use 2 blocks, one for the top and one for the bottom, okay? But I'm going to take, say, in fact, what I'm going to do is I'll roll this out. So roll and turn, okay? We want a long rectangular shape and then we want to fold it over, okay? So don't be too heavy-handed with the rolling pin. Lots of gentle rolls is better than big, heavy pushing it down because you'll just end up with a dint in the middle of your pastry. You could do this for your 12 for dinner.
Yeah.
Is it you 12 for dinner or mum? Does it depend
Mum with a helping hand.
Does it depend how enjoyable Christmas Eve is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Strolling in.
Yeah.
I remember I had the biggest hangover. Once I've had a big hangover on Christmas Day when I was a teenager. Oh, it was awful. I couldn't cope. Never done it again. Never again. Hey, Pip. It's too long a day for a hangover for me. Right, okay. So you can see we're now developing into, and it's going to go on here. So we're going to make sure that we can trim it. I've got a silicone baking mat here, which means I know it will not stick. These are brilliant. You can get them at cookserveandenjoy.com. They are a godsend. Right. So I'm going to go with, what's that? 30 centimetres by 50?
Yeah.
Would you say? 30 by 50. Okay. We're going to go with that. Right. And it's about a couple of mil thick. Okay, so what we're going to do is take some of our turkey. So we're going to work on this side because it's going to fold over, okay? So I bet you've been wondering how I'm going to do this, haven't you? Since we started coming up with these ideas, it's like, what is he thinking?
Yeah.
Okay, so sausage meat all the way down the middle. Okay, so this is our first bird. Sometimes I wonder how it's going to look as well. Okay, there we go. Right, so that is our first. And then just take your hand and just run a little well down the centre. Okay, because that means we'll be able to put our second and third bird in there. Just wash my hands. Right, now let's take duck first. Sit down the centre. So you can see why we've butterflied it as well, just to make sure it will go all the way down. Okay, so that is our duck. And then our slightly smaller breast meat with the pheasant. You could use pigeon, you could use partridge, you know, you could go with whatever you want. So just lay the pheasant breasts on top there. So you've got a nice even layer all the way through. Let's just pop those on there. And there we now have our 3 birds. So we'll take some beaten egg. We'll get this round the sides. So this will glue everything together. Okay. So make sure you only put it on 1/2 of the pastry, okay? Because if you put it on both sides of the pastry, it just kind of does that. Whereas if you just do one side, it sticks. Just egg wash all on 1/2, and then we take our remaining turkey, cranberry, clementine sausage meat, and just sort of each piece that you take, just flatten it out, and we're going to cover the other 2 birds, okay? And then we will get this sort of perfect Wellington. So just take your time, make sure everything's sealed up. Now remember, if you've got any questions at all, post them in the comments below and I will answer them as best I can and as quickly as I can. Okay. So once that's on there, just wash my hands. Okay, so we want to make sure that we've got 1 inch at the top and the bottom, just to allow the pastry to come over the top, and then just fold your pastry over. Now, you can see there, I'm a little bit short, but that's okay. Let's unwrap it, put a little bit of flour on there, and then let's just push it out a little bit further. There we go, and let's have another look and just see what we can do. So we're almost there. I reckon I can just sneak that round, and then I'm going to fold that over there, and then take the ends and tuck them all in. Okay, so we're going to tuck those in. Now, here's the tricky bit. Your hand underneath and carefully transfer your Wellington onto a decent sized tray. Okay, and I'm just going to put that to one side. Now, the other piece of pastry we've got, I'm not going to need all that. I'm just going to lose that. If your last bit, roll it up, roll it out, make some pastel donatas. Great use for puff pastry. Leftover trimmings. Like a pastel donata in the office, don't we? I might have to get one tomorrow. Or 2, 1 each. 3. There's 3 of us in tomorrow. Right, so let's roll our pastry out. And again, we want it the right length for our Wellington, so we'll just a little bit longer. And it's okay to be a bit thinner, this pastry, because this is what's going to create our lattice. Now, where's my tool? Here it is. Your lattice cutter. All right, a little bit of flour onto it. And then we're just going to get it started. Hold on to the end and run the pastry cutter all the way along, and then the same again there. So we've got this lovely big lattice pattern now. So we open that out and we know that's going to cover. In fact, what I'm going to do, I won't need all that. I'm just going to go with 1/2. Let's take that, trim the excess off. There we go. So now we've got our wonderful lattice. Now you can do this with a knife if you haven't got one. Just needs a lot of patience. Okay, so we're just going to stretch it out so we know it's going to cover and hold our pastry in. Now, let's wash the remaining egg wash onto our Wellington. So let's just get plenty of that on, because it's best to do this, then put your lattice on and then brush the top of the lattice. Otherwise you just end up with sort of wells and reservoirs of egg wash in the little pockets. So a good coating to begin with. So if you want your pastry to be really, really golden, just brush it in egg yolks. And I've got a fantastic recipe to use up the whites. It's a lemon curd martini.
To make my lemon meringue martini cocktail, take equal amounts of sugar and water, boil them together until they hit temperature. Then separate your eggs, it's the whites that we want for this recipe. Whisk them up with a little pinch of salt until they're really light and fluffy. When your stock syrup's at temperature, pour it in gently, bit by bit. Keep whisking until it's cool. Then add your lemon curd and your limoncello into a cocktail shaker over ice. Give it a really good shake and get those two ingredients amalgamated and mixed together. Pour into a martini glass. Then top with your Italian meringue. Pipe it in using a piping bag. Go round the edge of the glass and then top it until it's completely sealed. Then with a blowtorch, toast the top and you have the most amazing drink to enjoy at Christmas.
Looks good, that drink, doesn't it? Honestly, download the recipe book, get the recipe and prepare yourselves to make that amazing lemon meringue martinis. They are delicious. Tried and tested, aren't they, Emily?
Yep.
Right, all egg washed. Let's take our lattice and spread that all the way across the dish. Okay. And now you can see the pattern it's going to take. Just tuck in the edges a little bit. Now don't worry too much about either end because we're going to cut this clean before it goes onto the table, okay? But now you want to just egg wash the lattice part so that it's all lovely and golden when it comes out of the oven. It's important that you take your time on this bit. So just egg wash it. You could get all this done the night before if you wanted to. If it's something you fancy doing for an alternative Christmas dinner, why not? Okay. So I'm going to pop this into the oven 170 degrees. Before I do, we want a couple of little air holes just to let the steam out, because if you don't, the steam will force its way out and it will burst the pastry somewhere. So just a few little holes and then into the oven. And to make sure this is cooked, I'm going to use a digital probe. I want the core temperature in the center to be 75 degrees Celsius. Right, while my 3-bird Wellington is baking in the oven, that crispy pastry is going lovely and golden, this is how I make my vegetarian and vegan meatloaf with a pickled blackberry chutney.
Right, to make this delicious meatloaf, first we're going to make the chutney. Red onions, chopped nice and fine, into a frying pan with a little splash of oil. Then in with some brown sugar, soft or golden, doesn't matter, and get your frozen blackberries into the pan. Add a bay leaf, sprig of thyme, and some vinegar, and then boil it down until the onions are soft and the blackberries have broken down. Now, to make the meatloaf, add a good splash of olive oil or rapeseed oil into a pan. Chop your onions nice and fine into the pan and start cooking. Then dice your carrots really small because we need these to cook soft. Chop your celery the same as the carrots, really, really fine. They need a little while to cook and you want them soft in this meatloaf. Add them to the pan with the carrots and the onions and stir together with some salt and pepper. Take your time, stir it, keep it working and get all those veggies soft before transferring into a big mixing bowl. Now crush your chickpeas, they should be drained and washed, and add to the mixing bowl. Then add your breadcrumbs. I've used sourdough, some nutritional yeast, and some ground flax seeds. This is what's going to help it bind. Season it with some dark soy sauce for a bit of saltiness, some HP brown sauce. If you haven't got that, use barbecue. And then Henderson's relish. You could also use Worcestershire sauce, but bear that in mind, it does have anchovies in. A little bit of liquid smoke for flavour. If you haven't got that, use smoked paprika. Stir it all together, really incorporate those ingredients together. We want this to bind. Now cook the blackberry jam into the bottom of a lined loaf tin and then top it with your meatloaf filling. Use the back of a spoon to press it down and make sure all those gaps are filled. And then it's into the oven. Now you have got the most delicious vegetarian or vegan Christmas lunch.
Right, our 3-bird Wellington is baked. Look at that. I mean, if that isn't a centerpiece for a Christmas day, I don't know what is. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim both ends. I've cut that end and I'm just going to clean that off. There we go. Let me move that to one side. And then I'm going to cut a lovely portion so you can see it in all its glory. Look at that. What do you think of that, Emily?
Wow, that's good.
See, to me, that is more impressive than a roast turkey, I think. Right, let me get a plate. And there we go. So you can see all 3 birds, cranberries, smells amazing. And I'm going to serve this up with a Malbec rosé. So it doesn't always have to be big, gutsy, bold reds. A rosé Malbec. It's light, it's fruity, it's crisp. It's going to work perfectly with this. There we go. Cheers. We're going to have a little taste of this, Emily. If I make sure, because I know you're going to want to taste that centre bit, you always get all 3 pieces in. I'll take this bit to try. You can take that bit. Emily gets to try it off camera. I have to try it on camera. But that's okay, I can do that. Now remember, if you want the recipe, type free book in the comments below. It will launch into Facebook Messenger. Follow the instructions. And it will automatically download a beautiful ebook PDF of all our recipes. You can also go to our YouTube channel and sign up there and you get all the videos there as well. Thank you very much for watching and I will see you on the next episode.